Welcome to the Irn-Cru podcast, and a very happy Thanksgiving to one and all. We are the NFL podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers. I am your host this evening. It's Keith McGinty, and delighted to say I'm joined by Dan. Dan Connor, how are we, buddy?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I went for the casual look tonight. I'm on the couch with a laptop rather than the professional setup up the stairs. It's Thanksgiving, so it's not that comfortable tonight.
I like to think this is the hacker's view when they're watching you at 1 o'clock in the morning. Happy Thanksgiving, mate. It's been a exciting start so far. The Lions have just finished getting absolutely tanked at the start of the game by the Green Bay Packers, which I don't think many of us were expecting. Did you watch much of the game there?
I pretty much watched all of it. I missed bits of the first half. I had it in the background while I was doing bedtime, etc. and stuff like that. I watched the whole second half there. But yeah, I'm just currently watching the Cowboys getting ready to come on the field with the throwback uniforms on. I absolutely love the Thanksgiving uniforms for us.
They are class. They are absolutely class. I have a fantastic weekend in store for us anyway for the Thanksgiving. So to all the listeners, viewers that we've got in Scotland, have a wee look every once in a while to see who it is that we've actually got listening to the podcast and where they are in the world. And there's some weird and wonderful locations. Cambodia comes up and stuff like that. But North America, of course, is very, very popular with expats that are over there. So hello to everyone there in America. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It'll be mid-afternoon there, getting late afternoon, about 5 hours behind, 7 hours for the
East Coast will be about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Fantastic. It sounds like it's an incredible day over there. The food, the festivities. I had planned of getting right tore into it this year, but my plans get scuppered this afternoon when my wife suggested we go to the fort in Glasgow to pick up a few things before the mad dash on Friday. We've got a party to go to, so we were going to try and pick up a few things, but my grand plans of getting a good American like burger and takeaway was scuppered. So what about yourself? What have you been up to this evening?
I don't really like meat turkey, but a roast chicken dinner tonight. I said to the wife, I said on the pod last night, I've always worked shifts, so I can never have a guaranteed to have a Thursday night off. So I don't really started any traditions, whereas now it's me now off every Thursday night. So let's start a tradition: roast chicken dinner, couple of ciders, be bit of the podcast, ready to watch the Cowboys. That's me.
Amazing. If you listening at home have got any of your own Thanksgiving traditions, share them with the crew. We'd love to hear what they are. We need to start a few of our own. I myself, I'm just a big fan of just sitting watching, munching away some sweeties. So I've got a big packet of Skittles to get tore into, and I might pour myself a wee whiskey to celebrate. Go for the wee Scottish American, hands across the Atlantic there for that one. Atlantic Ocean. There we go. It'd be good. What's some of your favourite memories of the Thanksgiving games? Because the Cowboys are involved every year. You mentioned on the podcast last night how they said if they were going to do it, they had to be involved in everyone. Kind of part of how they became known as America's team is that they're force-fed the masses every Thanksgiving, whether they're good or not. But your team seems to be doing quite well just now, Dan. What's some of your memories in?
Well, I was just looking back here. Sometimes you forget when games are played and stuff. I've just looked back. Thanksgiving record's a bit patchy recently. We beat the Giants last year, but then before that we lost 3 in a row. In fact, 3 in a row, including being absolutely humiliated by the Washington football team. 41-16 in 2020. So I mean, it's patchy. I mean, we obviously want to be on prime TV, and NFL obviously want us on prime time TV. That's why we're always there. But the record is a bit patchy. I don't have the overall record, but it's hit and miss. But the way the season's going, the way Washington are playing this year, I don't expect. I'm just looking at the actual pool. They were 13.5 point favourites tonight, so I think that could be a good estimate.
I think so. Even with Hill's remarkable throwing averages just now and the amount of yards that he's done so far, I think he's still leading the league, which is incredible with that team.
He's also
I can still see he's.
Sorry.
I can still see he's absolutely tanking them tonight. I think it's going to be a good game. Then again, we did say that for the Lions against the Packers. Not many of us were expecting that. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, as much as Hill's they're up in the top for receiving yards this year, passing yards, he's obviously the most sacked quarterback as well in the league. So with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, I think they might feed a bit tonight. I'm hoping they do anyway. Hopefully we get Deron Blanc and get another pick 6 for himself and get the NFL record on his own.
Was it 6 he's got just now?
So he's on a 4. So he's tied for the record. So 4 pick 6s in the one season's tied. So one more and at him, he'll have the record outright himself, and it'd be pretty fitting for him to get it on Thanksgiving as well. I think because of how big it is for the Cowboys Thanksgiving, so it'd be good to get that record.
There you go. Still get time to get your anytime touchdown scorer.
I know. I've bust me there, so that's that one in the window. But it didn't even go through into the field. 95 yards I got, so that's that one's out the window.
Busted. That's a great shout, and to go. We're only in week 12 now, and to already have the 4 pick 6s, he's still got plenty of time. Might not even need that extra game that's been added in as well. I'll be interested to see.
He could upset the record that potentially, I'm not going to say will never be beaten, but it's one of those ones where you get that many, like see them Trayvon Diggs when he get his games with interceptions last season. They're just like one of those records that like that's going to last a long time. If he was to get 5, maybe even 6 pick 6s in one season, it's going to take a lot to beat that. And to be fair, for him to get it when he came into this season, he was a slot corner at the start of the season. He was the number 3 corner. Until Diggs went down, and we trusted him to move him outside, and he's paid Dan Quinn back big time for putting that faith and confidence in him.
Last year was your first win in 4 years on Thanksgiving. Against the Giants 28-20. Are you confident for this evening's game against the Commanders? Do you think this could be quite a bit of a statement because you've been cooking quite well? We've seen other teams do that already this season. The Dolphins have kind of maybe flattered to deceive at times, but they've been when they've been hot, they've been red hot.
Yeah, I think I don't like to be too overly confident because I've done that with the Cardinals game and look what happened there. To be fair, they did have Josh Dobbs playing for them, and we all know he's MVP, so
absolutely.
I think we can let that one slide. But I think, I mean, the Lions losing in a way kind of helps us a wee bit if we get any chance of winning the NFC East. But on the flip side of it, the Lions losing is actually a bad thing because if we end up just in the playoffs and they're the number 2 seed, we can end up playing them. So just like it's kind of getting quite complicated in terms of the NFC playoff picture. I'm confident. I think it will be. I think it could be as comfortable as we want it to be. It's one of those games where the only thing that's stopping us tonight is ourselves, I think.
D.D. Lamb is the guy that's been doing the business for you in the past couple of weeks. Is he going to continue his fine form tonight, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I think he's done that run of games with 125 yards, 150 yards, whatever it was. And then again, the weekend, I never got that. But I think tonight's a game with Dak. I think he'll spread it about a bit. I think he started doing that more recently. We've seen Brandon Cooks coming into the game a lot more over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We know the Crew favourite, well, Stu's favourite tight end. Jake Ferguson's been getting a bit more action as well. Dylan Torbert's been getting a good amount of time in the field as well. So, we've got a lot of options now there at wide receiver. Also, CD Lamb is the number 1, but teams are covering them with his best corner. We do have the weapons out there. Gallups is always thereabouts. But we've plenty of weapons there. I mean, Shoemaker got a touchdown last weekend as well. Kev's is asking what I think the Cowboys are going to finish the season now. Give me 5 minutes and I'll look at the schedule, Kev. I can't remember who we're playing, and I'll come back to you with a number in a minute. I can't remember what I said. What did I say at the start of the season? 13-3?
17-0, you said.
I think I said we split the season with the Eagles and we lost to the 49. I think I had us losing 3. Kev will remind me because he's obviously got it bookmarked what I said. So, so I'll check. I'll go back to you in a second for that one, Kev. I think CD Lamb will have a game tonight. I think. Obviously Washington have lost Young and Sweat, so how much of a threat are they going to be on the defense? We'll just have to wait and see how that one plays out. Kev's now. I need to go and look at our schedule now. Kev's asked that question.
It's continuing on with the tenuous Scottish link for the first game with Glasgow playing for the Lions. We also have Ferguson, of course, playing for your Dallas Cowboys. So we just need to have a wee look and see who in the Seahawks 49ers game that we can tenuously link to the Scottish team back home, and we can root for them.
This is what we could be doing with the Giants playing. With the two Scottish players.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, give me a second. I'm just going to look at our schedule. Who have we got left?
So,
let's see.
Yeah, so Parsons fit, yeah.
Yeah, I think just Vaughn's out. 2 cornerbacks, Eric Scott, who he started the game this season for us, and Noah Beneni, and injury report. So yeah, everybody else is fit to go. Trey Lance is the emergency QB. But yeah, it looks like a fully fit team. Right, Kev, to answer your question, I think we're going to go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
So looking at it, while you're getting with that, I'll go through your schedule. So Commanders tonight, then you've got the Seahawks next week. Thursday night football. We'll see. That's at home for that one. Also, you've got a nice wee run of 3 home games there, and then you've got the Eagles. I
said at the start of the season we split with the Eagles. I've already beat us once, so we'll win that one.
There you go. You're travelling then 17th December. This could be a snow game heading to Buffalo.
Still win. The Bills are done.
I don't know. New offensive coordinator makes all the difference, of course. I think you could maybe see a wee resurgence there. But like you said, their defense and O-line is just shot to bits now. So I think I can understand you going for a wee win there. Then travelling from the frozen tundras of the north down to the heat of Miami for the Dolphins game. Before finishing up. Aye, to see that. Before finishing off with a game at home to the Detroit Lions and then the Commanders on the 7th of January.
Yeah. So I have us losing 1 of those.
Miami then?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Maybe 2. Depends how much Buffalo's turned the corner. We've seen it with the Packers. Just a couple of games, a couple of wins, a bit of confidence, and teams start to find hidden gems, just ready to step up and take over the mantle of the players that are out.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, there you go, pal. Yeah.
I'm with you with Philadelphia. Philadelphia, I think, could maybe, if they're on a roll still, they could maybe get a win there. And Miami. It just depends who's fit for those teams at the time. But I think that's a fair shout, a fair estimation of it. Apart from Seahawks, we've got absolutely humpies, and we're going to do it in style.
So 13-4. I think that's probably close to what I said at the start of the season. I obviously didn't have us losing to the Cardinals at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think looking back, I had us obviously beating the Cardinals. I had the 49ers beating us. I remember that. I had us beating, splitting the series with the Eagles. So far, I've only got 1 wrong. So, yeah, I think 13-4, I think, is a fair. And else is going to happen. What's going to happen with the Eagles? The Eagles going to lose. The amount of games that we can overtake them, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. How far do you see the Cowboys going then in the off season?
Right, every year I say we're going to Super Bowl and look what happens. To be fair, Kev says I said 15-2. Yeah, I probably did, Kev, because as I said, we would have lost to the 49ers and we would have split with the Eagles. So 15-2 probably is right. But I probably, when I looked at it, I would not have expected the Dolphins to be what they have been this season. So I had us beaten them. So that the Cardinals and the Dolphins are the two games that I wouldn't have seen us losing at the start of the season. So I'm not too bad, to be fair.
Nah,
Yeah, it's all going to depend, isn't it? I mean, in who we get in the playoffs, what seed are we going to get? So we're going to be at best number 5. I can't see us overhauling the Eagles to win the division. Just looking at the other teams, at the moment, a couple of 6 and 4 teams, but I can see us getting number 5. So that means we play them, we play number 4. So that could be anybody at the current rate. So it's all going to come down to what everybody else does and who we play. So
yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. The podcast that you did last night with George and Daniel was absolutely terrific. Really enjoyed listening back. So if you haven't done so, have a wee listen. George, of course, is a big Indianapolis Colts fan. He was over in Germany. Even managed to make it into the press conference for that and asked some really interesting questions there, which was great. Daniel, of course, not long back from travelling over to New Orleans. I think it makes the trip over at least once a year. Terrific guy, knows his stuff as well, very knowledgeable, and just great to talk to these guys about football. It was brilliant to hear. So well done in getting them involved, Dan, and I look forward to more chats with them.
Yeah, I think it's. I said we were talking after we were off air last night. I think it's something I think going forward that we really need to get. Not to say better is probably the wrong word, but I think getting these type of guys involved with us and collaborations is something that I think going forward is going to work well, because I think the point I made last night, who wants to listen to me talk about the Colts when I have someone like George talking about the Colts? Like that, you'd rather, as a Colts fan, you'd rather have another Colts fan talking about your team than a neutral. So I think it worked really well last night.
He's much more handsome as well, so that definitely helps with video clicks as well.
I'm not going to argue with that point. I'm not going to argue that point. I don't know if you heard about it. Somebody came on and said we were the evolution of beard growing. Somebody with a comment that was hilarious, to be fair. If anybody go back and watch the video, you'll see the evolution of beard growing in one podcast. It was hilarious.
Fantastic. Let's see what we got there. So the next game after that is the Seahawks taking on the 49ers. I'm apprehensive, we'll say. Apprehensive. Last week, do you know what? I'd have been a lot more confident had we managed to get that field goal to win the game last week. I think that would have just gave us that wee boost, because we've been playing well. We've got a young team and they are learning. They're getting better every year. I feel that we just need a couple of dirty wins where we're just getting it through and no more. Kind of like the Eagles have done this year.
Yeah.
Maybe just a few wee things like that. We don't quite have the AJ Brown just now that they've got that can dig us out a hole. DK Metcalf's.
You should have this thing. You have got him.
Should. Yes.
You have got him in your team. He's just not doing. And is that on him? Is that on Geno Smith? Is that a bit of both? What's your thoughts on it?
I definitely think we could get a lot more from DK, but Geno is one for spreading it about. Tyler Lockett's been getting plenty of touches as well. Been doing all right. I don't know if we're just going a wee bit stale there. Jackson Smith and Jigba was one I was kind of expecting a wee bit more from, playing in the slot. I thought that was just going to complement the team perfectly, and it was really going to add to us. But it's his first year. Well, we can give him a bye there. I think there's plenty of signs that he is a good player. Maybe it's going to take till the second season before we see that. For me, it's a tight end. I think we're really needing. I think we need that threat through the centre of the pitch. I think that's something that we could really do.
No offense, not really lighting. I mean, and I made a point halfway through this, a quarter way through the season so far, and it kind of backfired on me to an extent at the time. But I don't think many tight ends this season have really shown up as the way we would expect tight ends to in the last. in the last few seasons, tight ends have played a key part in a lot of teams' seasons, not just not just your Kelsey, not just your Andrews. They have been key players for teams, but this year it's kind of been I don't know. It just seems to be something where tight ends are not getting the love this season, or they're not performing to the levels. If you look at someone like Kyle Pitts, we spoke about him last night. Sam Laporte, fair enough, it's his rookie season. You can see that, but for a team like the Lions who are performing so well, again, he's not getting the service that you would expect. A team that's 8-2, you'd expect the ball to be spread about. He's not getting as many. Hawkinson, well, I actually pulled his figures up last night, and I was maybe a bit slightly critical.
Surprised that, yeah.
But again, he's still not putting up the numbers that we're used to seeing from him, especially with JJ being out. I think everybody expected him to step up and play more of a role. So, yeah, I mean, apart from maybe Kelsey, Andrews before he got injured, Kittle's, even George Kittle this season's, and obviously went off on us, so that kind of backfired. I think it was actually around about then I actually said, tight ends have not done much this season, and George Kittle puts 3 on the Cowboys that weekend. Kev's just saying, I think Ferguson's been key for that. It has. But again, if you look back to Dak was always big on tight ends, so we had Schultz and Jason Witt and things like that. Tight ends just seem to not be getting as many plays run or thrown their way as they previously were, but that's maybe just a scheme thing or defenses just kind of shutting down on tight ends more, but I don't think something's going to last. Tight ends are a key position.
Yeah. We've done well with some of the drafts that we've done from the for the Seahawks, and you can see there is a team that has been built, whether that's been built around Gino or maybe going to have to move on from it. Every time I feel that I'm out with Gino, I'm done, he does something spectacular. He manages to bring us back from the brink. But
I think you guys
I've been. I'm happy with players like Devin Witherspoon that we drafted in the first round.
Yep.
He's doing well. Rick Woolen as well. Good. I think we're needing a wee bit more from Jackson Smith and Jigba as well in the first round. I think we're needing a wee bit more from Charbonnet, especially as Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I mean,
quite doing enough.
I was big on him in the fantasy draft. I think I'd like to pick him up on the 11 team because I'd expect. Obviously, I thought Kenneth Walker would do well, but I think maybe go with a 2-punch from him. But he's kind of, you said, you expect more from him. I'm going to give you a tenuous Scottish link to your Seahawks team. I found 2 players, Keith.
Oh, superb.
First, you have Kenny McIntosh. That's as Scottish a name as you could possibly get.
Yep.
And the other guy, Stone Forsyth. That's another good Scottish name.
There we go. We'll be looking out for them in the final game. There we go. That's a nice guys.
You're obviously talking about Gino there and y'all in, y'all out. I think you guys are in a very similar situation. We talked about the Saints last night.
Yeah,
where they're in a position where we can be top of the division and we can make the playoffs. Saints obviously, Seahawks obviously on top of the division, but we're still in a chance for the playoffs here. So better the devil we know. It's working, so let's not change it. And you're now going to be in a position where you're going to be too far up the draft order to get a top end quarterback next year's draft. So then you get in that situation. Do you pick up someone that is either comes back up or gets put on the waivers, or do you trade up to try and get someone? It just depends on what they see and what they think from Gino. I mean, we on the pod we spoke a lot about Gino at the start of the season, and I think I have said the Gino Smith we are seeing this season, I think is the Gino Smith I would expect to see last season, and yet overperformed last year. I think it's maybe teams are now aware of what he can do and are scheming against him, whereas last year he was a bit of an unknown quantity. So I'm not taking away from him because he was good last year, but
no. He'd been around the league for a long time, but he hadn't really had that consistency. And after the couple of weeks, I think the stats backed this up. There was definitely a regression towards the second half of the season. We managed to just scrape it into the wild card in the last day. That was probably more than we could have expected, especially after losing Russ and drafting quite well, but I don't think anybody was expecting us to do that. I certainly wasn't. Surprised and delighted to actually get in, especially at the expense of the Packers and the Lions it was.
Yeah, that's true. What about 49ers then? They looked as if they were powering their way to the Super Bowl and then suddenly lost those 3 games on the bounce to probably 3 teams they probably shouldn't have lost to.
But that's the thing, though, doing it to lose the games, that's the right time to lose those games. You've still got plenty of time to get your momentum going for the end of the season. That's why I was never one for picking the Dolphins to go the full season and make it all the way to the Super Bowl. They were playing well when the weather was nice. They've got to be able to do it in the dark days, the winter, and if they can do it in the next couple of weeks, then they're taking another big step towards it.
Just looking at the 49ers.
I'm starting to think the 49ers are maybe a bit like the Bills. Like their window's quite wide open just now. Yeah. How wide that stays open depends on just how much they can actually do maybe this year and next year, but they seem to be all in on it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the 49ers have probably got another couple of years in that window. There's this remarkable stat. I can't remember how many players it is. It's something like 7 or 8 players that they have got. They are the number 1 paid player in their position in the league.
Yes.
And they're still miles under the salary cap. It's like, how is that possible? It's obviously the way they've managed it. It's like, how do you have 7 or 8 players that are the highest paid players in their position in the league? But what nobody's actually saying is it's the punter, the kicker, the long snapper. That's why they can afford to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think the 49ers' window's open. They've got another couple of years yet. I think the 49ers, before they start looking at having to pay big money out, it's going to start decimating their team. But looking at their schedule for the rest of the year, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Seahawks again, the Cardinals. If you then get the Ravens in week 3rd last game of the season, we've got on Boxing Day. That could be a huge game in terms of seedings for the end of the year because they finish with the Commanders and the Rams. So you'd expect to finish that. That 49ers Ravens game could be an absolute cracker on Boxing Day. That could do a lot to determine who finishes where in the NFC this year.
It's a great time of year, isn't it? Now that we've got to Thanksgiving, heading into getting ready for the Christmas period as well. This is where it really starts to ramp up, doesn't it? Teams that have fallen away, they'll fall away. Other teams are just starting to take the sniff that their chances is coming, and if they can get a wee run together, they're going to absolutely take off and make that wee push for the postseason. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a bit like our LMK Fantasy League, where there's half of us that are pretty much out of it, and half is going for Caleb Williams, or the other half are going for the Super Bowl. And same as with Fantasy League.
I think I've got him. There's a good chance that I've got him. Right, I can see the Dak set there looking good with his retro gear on. I think we'll wrap it up and let you go and watch your team, mate.
Aye, mate, pleasure as always.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. You can catch us on Monday. Brian will be back with the review crew. I hope everyone has a very wonderful and great evening of football for the rest of this Thanksgiving. And I thought the game had just kicked off and you did get a pick 6. It's one of the highlights.
I've got Freddie Jones with the trumpet doing the Star Spangled Banner as tradition.
Fantastic. Right, all the best, mate. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.